Hi, I'm Christian Pleasant. This is my wife,
Erica.
and we are back with another episode of Real Love Estate.
Yes, we are so excited. Let me tell you, I feel like when you fight for an interview, it's going to be amazing. And this couple right here, they're so dynamic. We have had to push through quite a bit to get to this point, and I know it's for a reason. We have just a dynamic power couple who
Yes.
really has a heart for the community.
So, without further ado, I would like to introduce Mr. Cornell Powell and Miss Kyndall Ellis-Powell.
What's going on? How you doing?
Finally
Yeah,
got y'all up here. Got
yeah.
all the technical issues out the way. How are we doing today,
Yes.
man?
Can't complain. Blessed for sure.
Well, I really appreciate y'all taking the time out, man. I know on some ends of just being able to relax, all the busy hustle and bustle to stop by the show and speak to the people, man. So I really
Yeah,
appreciate y'all for that.
Yes.
absolutely.
So we want to get into it because for people that may not, I know I'm excited. I'm like, listen, y'all, we have a power couple, and I really have been able to experience just being with Christian and coming out and seeing some of the work that y'all are doing for the community and how y'all are showing up. What can you tell us just a little bit about yourselves for those that may not have connected with you before, just to kick us off?
I'll go first. I'm from Greenville, North Carolina, born and raised. Me and Christian, we crossed paths at Jay's Rose. That was the first time I got to experience a true leader for sure. Just someone who was a leader of men, just genuine, and just embodied the definition of leader. But I grew up here, and then I ended up going to Clemson, and then that's where we met. It was her last year. She actually was graduated and was going to Syracuse, and I passed across, and it's the rest is history, I guess. So everything's been good. Everything's been on the up and up, man. We just celebrated 3 years of marriage, June 25th. So definitely been blessed.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. I love how Kendall, y'all looking at each other. First of all, shout out to Clemson. I grew up in South Carolina, and South Carolina is divided between USC, that they call the real USC, and
Yeah, it's not.
Clemson. So right. So Kendall's like, so how was that experience for you, Kendall, when y'all came together, especially with you already like having plans to go somewhere else?
And give us a little background for where you're from as well, if you
Yes.
don't mind.
Yeah, Cornell was a big plot twist. I am from Georgia, and I'm technically a year ahead of him in school because his birthday is late. And so I went to Clemson, studied communications, and worked in football and recruiting and student athlete development. We didn't really know each other until after I had graduated and we lived in the same apartment complex. But like I said, I had already graduated. I had already got into grad school. I was moving to New York after the summer was over. So I thought, okay, well, he's cute, why not?
Yeah,
And we're still hooked up. So God had big plans for the two of us for sure.
definitely.
Yes.
That is just amazing. Once again, like you said, that plot twist kind of threw you that curveball. But to kind of ask further on that, where do you all think your faith kind of relied into that? Obviously, I don't know if y'all thought, like you said, the summer you had planned, and Cornell, you just getting started with school and everything, and that football path. Where did that play in as far as y'all kind of taking it to that next level, or like maybe this is becoming serious? When did y'all realize
I would say it was. I would say we were both like faith driven and Christians and all that. But I feel like when we became one, we really evolved our relationship with God, and we've been really pushing Him to the forefront of our relationship and taking it more serious, understanding that we're under His covenant, and everything is through Him, and it should be for Him. So with that mindset, I feel like we've been helping each other grow individually and together as one, as a couple, through God's word. So
That's good, man. That's good. And Kendall, go ahead. Tell us a little bit more of the uncut truth.
That was very biblical, wasn't it? It was so deep. But really, I feel like we did long distance when I went to grad school. Like I said, I was in New York and he was still in Clemson. But it was really Cornell deciding that he wanted to be all in. and that he wanted to really pursue long distance and make sure our relationship worked despite us being in two different places. And we've been building and growing in God relationally since then. I mean, we've been doing couples therapy before we got married. I'm doing my own individual therapy. So I think it's important to know that, yes, God is good and you need to be in your word and you need to be reading together, but therapy is good too. So you can have
Yeah.
both.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And I feel like one thing that y'all are screaming, even though y'all haven't said it, is self care. Both of y'all over there look like y'all could just
Right.
bench press the world right now. I'm
Yeah.
so inspired. I'm about to go running after this interview. But I love that you both come from a background of discipline. I know Christian always talks about how y'all had that whole CP thing going on, and both y'all were just killing all these records and things. So I know that, but even Kyndall, just even you going into grad school, just so much discipline is involved. So how would you say, like, what advice would you give to people? Because you have such a strong foundation coming together. So how important is that? Or even advice on how someone else could build a solid self-care foundation?
Well, that's why I made the name tag CP. That was for him. Uh, but I feel like first and foremost, you have to know and understand yourself before you try to put that into someone else. And that was the starting, just being able to, know your self worth, know what you like and what you don't like, what your boundaries are. Um, and you can't achieve that from no one else. You can't obtain that from no one else. That's something that comes from within and with God. And once you do that, then He'll place you with someone. Like she said, it was definitely not on the bingo card, but it came together, and it was a higher power doing that, and it was a blessing for real.
I would add, we talk about this a lot now, really enduring your season of singleness.
Mm,
I think a lot of people try to rush to relationship or being married, or they wanna they want what everyone else has, but
mm,
there's a lot of value in really taking your time to be single, understanding who you are, understanding who God has called you to be,
mm.
and what you really want. Because a lot of people put up this front of who they are, then they get in a relationship and they're like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
I don't know who I am. I don't even know if I really like you. This might not work. So just encouraging people that even if you don't have it right now, take the time to really work on yourself and build up those self-care practices.
Mhm.
Do you want to work out every day, or are you just working out because your man wants you to work out? Like, who are you? And then the right person will come.
Yeah, because once you start something, or once you introduce people to something, it's like that's what, not people, but your person to something. That's like what you have to sustain throughout the
Yeah.
entire relationship. And if that's not something that you can do, or you were just putting up a facade or bringing out your best for that moment, you know what I mean? It's not going to work out. It's going to crash and burn eventually. So
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
That's mic drop because
That's
I
good.
say like it's like where the person they meet your representative. And I know like
yeah,
Christian and I have had so many dynamics because we met each other in such a professional way that it's like I'm used to, he well y'all know this. If you even seen him at the camp, Christian is running. Like he came to the event, he's gonna be 10 people, in his professional world. And so like trying to find that balance in home life is like, hey, but that person also can get burnt out, or you have to, be able to sustain just because you've met them in one way. It doesn't mean that's, how it's always going to be. So I love that y'all talked about that representative. Yep.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's really good. Yeah, I mean that's just really good all the way around. I mean, and then basically just to add to that, at sometimes Superman got to take off his cape, to sit down
Yeah.
and be CP, be Cornell. Of course how everyone else see, but you be able to sit down and you get to see the uncut, just everything that not everyone gets the opportunity to see. The weight that we may carry on our shoulders or whatever, but we realize we're not carrying it by ourselves first and foremost with God, of course, but then our spouse, that really sets the difference in the tone to help us go forward as well.
Yeah.
So definitely to add to that.
I think that starts with just being your authentic self as well,
Yeah.
from the get go, and not trying to be someone that you're not. So
And I think a big piece of why we were successful is because we were friends first.
mm,
I didn't place any expectation or pressure on Cornell in the situation. I just really enjoyed Cornell.
yeah,
And then it built from that moment. And I think it's important in a relationship, you create a place of safety for the other person, like you were saying, Christian. because people are not going to be able to be vulnerable or communicate effectively if they don't feel like it's a safe space. So.
Gosh, this is so good. It's so good because even that, like the friendship component, and I find that for many of you watching, you might be sitting next to your best friend that you thought was your friend, because Christian and I were just professional and friends for years, and I didn't even think of him in that light. It was just like,
she said I was too young. I knew she loved me at least. I didn't even think. And a few years passed by, we had God ran it back, and
yes.
here we are.
So I love that, how you just shared that, because even with you from a professional standpoint, seeing how you said like you were in the recruiting realm, he's the actual, playing football. How have y'all been able to bring your passions together in the overall vision that God has for you, and how does that work for you?
Well, I have the Powell Project Foundation, but 95% of everything that goes on, she does it. She has the final say so in a lot of things. So, just her being able to, just embrace that and help elevate my foundation to the next level. I'm really grateful for that. A lot of things that she does, I'm not equipped to do, and I literally pass it on to her, or I'll send something to her and like, hey, babe, look this over, tell me what you think. As a matter of fact, just do it and send it to me, and I'll. So
I like
she
to
can
say you
speak.
got
She can
to
speak more to that though.
Yeah, he thinks I'm his personal chat GPT for sure. But I think it helps because I understand the world that he lives in, because I also work in it. So it helps with our expectations of each other. I understand a lot of the things that he doesn't have to explain to me because I've seen it from the other side. And we're both just really passionate about creating change.
Yeah.
And sports is a really great platform to do that because it draws so many people together from all different walks of life. So we both have the same vision. It's just about how we execute that. Some things he's better at. He's a lot more go with the flow. I'm a lot more let's get this down on a list and make the plan. But that is, we balance each other in that way. So that's been really good.
Definitely.
And kind of like you said, Cornell, just trusting the authenticity of who you are. So we know your skill sets, we know your strengths, we know what you love to do. Maybe you love to make them lists X, Y, and Z, and he over there, well, just let me know when you're done, or what do you need from me? That's one of my good lines.
Yes.
I like to say, well, just let me know what you need from me. If not, I trust you to do everything that you specialize in, and unless you need something from me, I know you got it. So that
I also think it takes a lot of pressure off of me not being able to have to do everything. And she can just take over. And like you said, I can be hands off, but I can also trust the work that she's doing. And she mentioned she understands the life that comes with an athlete and stuff, and that goes a long way. It's a very specific situation because I am an athlete, and everybody's not married to one. But with our situation, her being able to just understand that, and it just makes all the stress go away, or most of the stress goes away. Most of the stress. But it's you don't have to, the little things, what I'm saying, you don't have to really fully explain because she already knows and stuff. So it's definitely simplifies the little things.
Yeah, that's good.
That's so good. So we are going to take a short break. Have a featured sponsor who is Shelly, and we want to shout her out because if you have a story inside of you, you've been tiptoeing, telling everybody for the last decade that you were going to write the book. Shelly is going to make you write this book. So you need to join in with what she is doing. And we just want to shout out our sponsor. If you're interested in being a part of this platform, make sure that you go to keepingupwithcoast.com, and we're just going to shout out Shelly and be right back. Aspiring author, it's time. No more excuses. It's time to write the book God called you to write. Join Aspiring Authors in Action, a faith-led space for Christian women ready to write. Get the guidance, the support, and encouragement that you've been praying for. In this place, you'll be able to publish your book with accountability, confidence, and clarity, all in one uplifting membership. So you can join Shelly Lee, Pen Paper Publish founder, today by visiting the links below or joining her online across social media at Pen Paper Publish. I love it. I just have like 1,000 questions for y'all, but I'm being mindful of the time because Kyndall has literally given us all free therapy just now, just casually tossing that in. And then Cornell just giving all the behind the scenes and the insight with just, walking in excellence. My next question for you all is when you're walking in your God given vision, I know a lot of times it's tempting to like give up, or have you had moments where you're like, this is too much because y'all are on a public platform where people are looking up to you and expecting you to just have it all together. So how are you able to balance that, and what advice would you give to others?
Um, I would say, just first off, keep God first, but you got to have that partnership where you're able to communicate um, your feelings, whether they're good or bad, and you're able to express, how you're truly feeling about, what something happened or whatever the case may be. Just being able to, how can I word this, babe?
Take your time. Let me use you.
um, we've had times where it's things got hard, things got rough, but we just leaned on each other, and I feel like we talked about this earlier, like this year. This year, we learned that when we deal with things and deal with battles, it's easier to deal with it when we're going through it together and not trying to take it all for yourself, and like her isolating herself through a situation or me isolating myself through a situation. But if we come together and we fight that situation together, we'll get through it. It's going to be tough, but we got to be able to communicate through it, and gotta lead us the rest of the way.
Come on, Pastor Powell.
Right.
Come on, Pastor, because that's
Mhm.
that's good. The unity, I think a lot of times where we see marriage is attacked so much, and it's to get you to feel like you need to be in a silo and isolated. I love that you just said when you come together, like that's where the strength is.
Yeah.
Kendall, I feel like you got something for us too.
Um,
what advice?
I would just add to that, just like you said, the devil hates marriage. So he's coming for it every day, every chance he gets. And it's normally in the smallest things, like the little things that could just grow and become bigger and bigger. So I feel like a big piece is just calling out the lie. Like,
Mm.
even when it's something small, like he irritated me before I got on this podcast. And I had to really call it out because that could have changed the whole course of this conversation. And we could have not given what God has entrusted us with to someone who might be listening to this podcast.
Mhm.
So just a lot of the times getting out of your way, calling out the lies, and then understanding that we're not perfect people. So even if people are looking up to us, we are figuring it out day by day. We, even with the foundation, every year we try to do something different and better for the camp or any of the events we have going on. But we do a lot of self reflection and we try to edit and manipulate and change. And it's not going to hit the mark every time, but that's okay because we're still just trying to bring glory to God
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
And you're never too old to be able to grow or learn something. And then we also been trying to work on discipleship. So trying to find other couples who are, God driven and rooted in his word. And then just having that community around us. So we have people who we could talk to and they understand what we're talking about. And, it's all aligned with each other. So,
Because everybody can't be in your marriage, okay?
no.
Everybody doesn't have the same definition of marriage.
Yeah.
And
Right.
you just have to be very mindful of who you're allowing in and who you're seeking advice from.
Yeah.
Because everybody ain't built the same. And that's okay, but I don't want that over here.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. I know that very well, CP. Look, we right here with
Listen,
that.
y'all about to have me taking off running for real. I'm like, oh, so
Nah,
timely.
nah,
So
it's
good.
powerful. Even like you said, the little thing that may have started that argument or whatever it was, that lie before, that lie was happening over here too, and we had to definitely bring it on in because I do believe when we're walking in that calling, and it's not just for us and being able to show up, and there's gonna be so many things that's trying to delay that or just irritate you or put you at whatever, and it's like for what? It won't even necessarily. We were just fine. It's like now we about to do this podcast with another amazing couple, and now it seems like something just want to derail that or take our focus elsewhere, man. So that's definitely real and transparent for all the viewers watching as well. We're definitely not perfect, but I also would say too, man, it's like you said with that isolation potentially, but having your spouse, which I think is when you revert back to the principles that God's already called us to do, and you turn back to what He said to do, He's going to do the rest. But He just needs us to be willing to go back to what He told us. The promise, principles that He already set forth. So if we're willing to go back to that, He's going to work it out every time.
Amen. Because it's just so so good. Like you said, like every time, and we find this even every time we get ready for an interview, it can be the smallest thing, like y'all said. And it was just so beautiful because even prior to the interview, and Christian apologized because I was right. No, I'm just kidding. He apologized. No, because it's like, because I can see where God is working on both of us, and it was so beautiful because the enemy would have you feeling like, well, Lord, who are we to come up here, encouraging a couple, and I don't even want to talk to you right now, forget someone else. But that's because there's such an impact with your togetherness. And I'm already ready to rewatch this interview just to take notes on what so
that's good.
Yeah.
I got another question. And I know, like you said, with time, whatever, but so with your backgrounds and upbringing, your concept of marriage prior to being married versus now being married, and it sounds like, that y'all brought on even with the aspect of other discipleships and other married couples. So how does marriage, before y'all got married to now, how does that change and kind of opened your eyes?
I would say it's like she said, man, we're figuring it out. Her parents been married for a long time. My mom, she's not married, and she hasn't been married for a minute. But it's just like, but you see examples of good couples, and you try to embody that, or and you don't know exactly what they're truly going through because you're not in that household, but you try to bring in those qualities that you see. And I find myself now, if I'm out and I see an older couple or whatever, I was literally in St. Louis and I seen an older couple, and I mean, they were matching from head to toe, matching shoes, tracksuits, and everything. And I just asked them, like, what's the secret and what's the ingredients and stuff, just little stuff like that. Trying to figure out, like, qualities and things that I need to bring to the marriage. And we're only year 3. They were 35. You know what I mean? And then we just went to a wedding. My uncle, he's married 37 years and stuff like that. So it's different situations, but you can learn like valuable lessons from them. And from my experience, every time I ask, I get the same answers, man. Over communicate, accountability, and then just being it's a partnership. It's in this whole like 50-50 world thing, like that's social media thing. Some days, saying she might have 100, I might have 0, and it might be vice versa. But you got to meet your partner where they're at, and being able to love on them the way that they want to be loved or they needed to be loved. People have different love languages and stuff. So those are that's my definition of marriage so far.
That's good.
But the list is fluid.
Yeah, I would say, as you mentioned, my parents have been married for 32 years. So I always knew I was going to be married. I just knew that this is what I'm supposed to do, so I'm just going to do it. I feel like I was a little unprepared. I don't feel like I did enough of like I talked about, self-work in my Bible and truly understanding what does it mean to be married according to God's will, and not just what I saw with my parents or what my friends think that they want or what social media is telling me. What is God telling me? So a lot of that we've had to learn together, because I don't think that he either did that work either. So it's really important to surround yourself with people who have already done some of that work, who can feed life into you, but also just knowing that we are nothing, really. God is the only reason that this is working. So to always ask and keep submitting ourselves to that each day.
Yeah.
That's so good. Both of us, this how I know it's good when we both, I can feel, have a question.
Go ahead, ask it.
Listen, because one of the things that you said, Kyndall, you talked about being mindful of who you allow into your marriage. And I remember hearing this quote, I'm probably going to remix it, but essentially it said, don't confide in people that are for you, confide in people that are for your marriage. Like confide in people that are, and I will shout out my sister because she gets me so mad. I'll call her to get frustrated with Christian. She just has an ability to take the other person's side so much. So I'm not even mad at Christian anymore. I'm upset with her because she will, go 10 toes down. But I know she's someone that's for our marriage. She's not just for this because I'm her sister or whomever. So how have you all been able to find that balance with people that you're able to confide in, or, definitely taking it to God first, because I feel like he will give you that discernment over when to be quiet anyways. Like some of the stuff is just, I keep getting told to just be quiet and go pray. It's nobody's business. But how have you been able to find that balance, or how do you approach who you allow into your advice corner, I would say?
I'll go first. I think this is something we're actively building. Our situation is so interesting that we move around a lot, and community is not something that we've really developed because we never know, will we be here, will we be there, all the things. But what we have really been doing since the beginning of this year is trying to invite friends that we know are really rooted in the word and that they really are loving on each other, and we admire the relationship in some way. And so now we have virtual Bible studies every week with about 3 couples now, and we're all in different stages. Some are looking for homes, some are having babies, some are just feeding wisdom to each other in ways that you don't always get from everyone else. Yeah, you go ahead.
She hit it on the head. We are in that process of building our marriage community, I would say, and having people that we feel comfortable enough to, if we have a situation or problem, bring it to, and we know that they're going to, give us a holistic approach and not just a one-sided thing. And I think that was very good what you said too, just being able to discern who you go to for your problems or with your problems, because it could be your brother, sister, cousin, best friend. If I go to them and I'm talking about her, they're gonna naturally take my side, and now the next function that we're together or event that we're together in, they're gonna have an attitude with her, and then it's just gonna become a whole thing. But also, they don't know the whole thing, and they're the whole situation or the problem. They're just taking your side for it and taking you at your word, and not taking into account of how whatever happened made her feel, and why she reacted the way she did, or what triggers it might have presented to her during that time. So it's definitely good to have great discernment on who you bring into your marriage, because no one should be in there but y'all two and God, for real. And anybody else extra it could lead to destruction if you let it. You know what I mean? So
That's good. That's good all the way. And y'all both hit it on the head clearly, man. Clear as day, honestly. And even if we do, like you said, look at another couple or whatever, we understand that they're going through just like us. So I like to also hear insight and feedback. And, maybe we didn't think about that, or maybe we didn't even have that, thought come up at all. So now it's like, okay, let's come back and kind of talk this out and think. So it's not like saying we're taking what you said to be the right answer, because like you said, there's no one marriage that's going to be the same. There's no book or manual besides the Bible giving us that point of reference, but how we make that work in today's time clearly is different than how he did 100,000, whatever, how long ago, as far as marriage and things like that. So you just got to define what works for you, and like you said, take the information face value, and but you also know it's coming from people that you can honestly trust and has your best interest as a whole, not just individually too. So that's really good. We're coming up on that time, and this is great. I really don't want this to end. You got another one?
Yes, we do this thing called Real Love Is.
Oh, I was going to do that.
Yes,
I'll let you get out.
Well, before we do that, we're gonna literally wrap up in like 60 seconds and being mindful of your time. But I definitely first want to say to you both that y'all are dynamic, and I can see just the light of Christ in you. I see the light shining. And to me, that's so important, because in this world, it's like if we get our eyes off of that, then we're trying to piece all these things together when we're just reminded, since y'all done took us to church, to seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and then all the things that we have need of will be added to us, when we have our eyes on where they need to be. So I would just say if you had one tip for young couples, or it doesn't matter the age, maybe they're just young in their relationship, because they say those I say they say, but those first 2, 3 years, like, coming together can be a challenge. So what piece of advice would you give to that couple that maybe they're just starting out? They're in that first year run.
Um, my advice would be, I would say, leave your pride at the door. Um, this is this is a partnership, so it's not like you're not right all the time. You know what I mean? And it's not always what you say. Sometimes it's how you say, and I've learned that. Over communicate, man. Even when you think you're communicating, communicate more. It goes a long way. Leave no gray area or stone unturned when it comes to communicating. Still learning that to this day. And then spend time with your partner. We, like she said, when we were in college and still dating, or before we even became an official couple, man, we were skating, movies, hiking, all that, all the fun stuff. Like, don't let that die. Still send flowers to the house, send flowers to her job, stuff like that. Keep that romance alive, because this is your person. This is someone who I signed up to spend the rest of my life with. So I want her to be happy, and I want her to feel loved and appreciated and valued at every turn. So keep that going. So those are my 3 points.
That's good.
That's good.
That's good, Pookie. Um,
Well, what was that? I didn't catch that.
that's not my that's for everybody. I would say that marriage is sanctification. So this person is brought to you to bring out the worst in you, to show you where you need to work, and to bring you closer to God at the end of the day. So when it's happening, don't run from it. Lean into it and really do the work, not just for the other person, but for yourself. I would say a lot of stuff from my childhood has been brought up in our marriage, things that I didn't know that I was holding on to, or that were affecting the way that I communicate or react in confrontation, or all the things. So just be ready to do the work, because they're not trying to go against you, they're trying to make you better.
Mm.
And I feel like we're still evolving. We're still evolving as individuals as well.
Right.
So you know what I mean. Like, people change year to year, and so I feel like we're just trying to learn each other, and through your changes, through your evolvement. So don't shy away from that, like she said.
That's
Yes,
powerful.
I will say just briefly, one of the things you just said, Kyndall, was so good, because I remember thinking coming into marriage, like, oh, I'm good. I've healed. I've worked on all these things. And it's like, yeah, because you haven't been in a relationship in a decade. It's like you think you're good. And then as soon as Christian came in, it was like a mirror just shining on all the areas that were hidden that I didn't realize I had, so much there, without that iron sharpening iron and really pulling those things up, even though it was uncomfortable. So that was such a good point
Yeah,
too.
that was amazing. You all I keep hearing now is like y'all powerful. You get like powerful. Y'all
Mm.
power, which is powerful. I don't know if it's a podcast or ministry or what, but that's what I'm feeling like.
Come on, let me
Yeah,
write it
man,
down.
We're
that's
gonna
something
send the
good right there.
logo
Right,
after
right,
this.
write that one down.
Yes,
That's
that's a
good.
movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now our next segment, and I really appreciate y'all for being guests, is basically, I like to ask, well, I'll say, real love is, and then you just kind of fill it in with what comes to you when you think about real love. And, I'll let y'all both go. And that's basically how we'll kind of wrap up this episode. But we'll start with
Is
you,
this a
Miss Kelly.
phrase or a word?
Yes. Oh, no. Well,
Look at y'all, intelligent rules
I
graduates.
guess you can throw a phrase out there, man. Whatever you feel, real love is whatever that means to you. So if you want to be straightforward and drop a word, or you got a phrase or kind of build onto that, just tell us what real love is. Like I said, but we'll start with you, Kyndall, and you can kind of flow from there. So real love is.
Real love is
Trying to buy you some time.
relentless is the word I would use. It's an everyday pursuit. It's an everyday decision. You have to decide that this is what you want. So I would say relentless.
Real love is for you, Cornell.
Real love is a reflection of God's love for you.
That's good.
Just gonna leave it like that.
That's all I got.
No further
That's all I got.
explanation.
Man, that
Wow.
was just perfect, powerful.
Powerful.
And I
Yes.
mean, honestly, man, I really, really appreciate y'all once again for taking time out to get on this show.
Thank
I
you.
mean, and we're still in the season of our guests or whatever, but definitely, I got, like you said, I'm ready to go back and just watch this episode once again, man, just to kind of feel it. But we know we have the 4th annual Powell Camp coming up this
Yes.
weekend. You know, let's talk about that real quick. Just let us know what's going on, where we can find y'all or connect with y'all outside of here, obviously, on our platform. But where can we follow you all and anything you all have coming up?
Oh man, the Powell Project 4th Annual Youth Camp is this Saturday, July 12th at J.H. Rose. It's supposed to be an amazing event, man. We're looking forward to it. It's probably our biggest camp so far. Chick-fil-A is sponsoring it. Registration, if you haven't registered, you can come up 9 a.m. From kids ages 6 to 14. It's girls and boys. You know, it's going to be a great time. You know, my wife, she did a great job of helping me plan it, and you know we're excited.
Follow the Powell Project.
Yeah, I would say you can follow the Power Project at Power Project 14 on all platforms, and then our website is the cpowerproject.org as well.
Wonderful. And we'll make sure all of that is in the description because y'all are powerful as Christians.
Yeah, I love
I'm
it,
just
man.
over here like when y'all, I don't know what you're kickstarting, but when you kickstarted for the couple of the, when you do an international Bible study, please send us the
Yeah, we
invite
definitely
because
want to get in on that.
y'all are dynamic. So thank you so much. Yes,
Thank
and we'll
you.
make sure if you're watching, yes, you can look in the comments wherever this is streaming at, wherever you find this. Make sure you check out the comments and go support the Powell Project because we have both been at the camp and it's
Yep.
what you do for the community is crazy. In a good way, like it matters.
No one's doing it the way that you're doing it, man. You can tell that your heart is there and it's really for the community because you come from the community, man. And you represent so much. But at the end of the day, like you said, it's a reflection of what God is doing for you, man, and through you, man. And that's ultimately the message that we can get across to these kids, that we can be whatever dream that we have set, you know, as long as we keep God at the forefront, man. So once again, the Powells, we love y'all, man. Thank you so much for being on. And we definitely got to have you all back.
Yeah, so if you're watching right now, tell a friend, tag a friend, and if this episode inspired you, tag someone in the comments and get them here right now so they can go back and watch it. If you want to stay connected with us, you can do so across social media at Keeping Up with the Coast, #Real Love Estate, wherever you are watching this, and share the love, and we'll see you in the next episode.